Hi, my name is Lisa Okochi, and this is Lorraine Jones. We're from the Kundalini Reiki group. And today, I'd like to introduce you what you need to do to have an average Reiki session with a client, traditional Usui style. And I'd like to guide you through the various hand positions, and it should last around 30 minutes for one session per client. One hand movement would basically be about 5 minutes long, and you can have background music timed to stop every 5 minutes, or you can use a Tibetan singing bowl. You'll find something that will help you guide you through without having to look at your watch. Okay? So part one, let us imagine that it's one healer and one client. And usually we'll have them lying down, face up first, maybe with their hands, palms facing up. And before you start anything, I highly advise you to take a few moments to ground yourself as you prepare to connect your energy with the energy of the client. Sometimes it's very good to invoke for higher guides to help you to make the energy strong. So I like to take a few deep breaths, close my eyes, and visualize my feet grounding into the earth, and I invoke for my higher guides to guide me. And then when I feel I'm ready, I will gently place my hands initially just to introduce my touch to the client. Would you like to breathe a few deep breaths into your stomach and exhale slowly? And how we would start for a session of 30 minutes, one way, one healer, one client. We would start with our hands on either side of the client's head. You have a choice. You can either touch directly, or you can hover a few centimeters away from from the skin, and in this way you might actually feel the energy penetrate more. Otherwise, some people have a tendency to tremble. That might not be very comfortable for the client, so I suggest you choose a style that works best for you, especially if your hands tend to be of the heavy type. You don't want to lean too hard on a client. So the first hand position we would start off with is to put the hands on either side of the head. And you gauge what's going on as your energy starts to connect with the client. Then after 5 minutes, you would go over the eyes and the third eye. You can rest the edges of your hand gently at the edge of the scalp. Try not to touch the nose. It might tickle the client. You visualize the Reiki going into the third eye and the eyes. And after 5 minutes, you would go down to the throat chakra. And for the throat chakra, be very mindful. You don't want to have the client feel like they can't breathe well. So I suggest you put the edge of your hands along the collarbone and just hover around the jawline, like so. And oftentimes you will feel heat, sensations coming out of the throat chakra. Then you can go down to the heart. The heart, if it's a man, you can lightly put your hands in the center of the man's chest for the heart chakra. As a female, you would want to hover slightly above the chest sternum. As you make your way down the body over each chakra, the next hand position would be for the solar plexus. So the solar plexus, you place your hand lightly over, just underneath the rib cage area. Going down to the sacral area, you would of course again be mindful and hover slightly above the navel. As you make your way down the front of the body, you would go to the knees. Maybe you would want to touch lightly the knees. You could do another style of the knee and the ankle at the same time for a couple of minutes or so, then transfer to the other knee and ankle. And if you have time, if you want to lengthen the time, you could always do the bottom of the feet matching with the top for each foot. Okay, this is like a one-to-one. If you only have 30 minutes, you can either do the whole front of the body, or you could do the head, third eye, throat, heart chakra, and maybe the solar plexus. And then you might want to ask the client to turn over. Can you please turn over, please? Thank you. Okay, you can always ask the client in the beginning what they're looking for if they have some extra pains. For example, if it is a shoulder pain, you might want to start when they're on their stomach to start with the shoulders. You can either lightly touch on either side of the neck, or again, you can hover. If they have tension headaches, you can try to put your hands at the base of the neck. As time goes on, you will know which hand position will suit the client. And then you can go down to the heart, the back heart. You can do it this style, or you can do it this style. Whichever style you do, Reiki energy knows where it'll always go where it needs to go. So you do not need to worry too much about getting it right or wrong. Then there's the back of the solar plexus. Then literally behind the navel, okay, you can put this, is good for lower back pain. Especially if the client is coming in with a back pain, you might want to hang out here. And then there's a root chakra, which governs the legs. So just staying here will help the client with leg issues. If you have time, again, you can, if it's a knee issue, you can just focus on the lower half of the body, going down to the ankles if you want, and then going back to the feet. Okay, that is one style where you have one client, one healer, and you have some time, okay? Okay, would you like to turn it back onto your back again? Thank you, Lorraine. Okay, so now part two, I would like to demonstrate or guide you to the situation where you might have two healers to one client, and you do only have 30 minutes. Well, one person will be at the head of the client, and the other one will be at the side. Okay, so the one at the head will be working the top body, and the one who's standing on the side or sitting down, if you're on a mat, will be working down the body. Okay, so how that would go is the person around the head will be 5 minutes here, 5 minutes the eye chakra. Again, be mindful not to place your whole hands heavily on the client's face. Then the throat chakra. You can stop here, that's like 15 minutes already. The other person could start, as she is doing the head, you can start working away from the heart, the solar plexus, and the navel chakra area. Okay? If you feel like you want to go a little longer, you can work one knee, one ankle for a couple of minutes, and the other knee and the ankle to round it out. But with that in mind, so imagine the top person is doing 3 things. side of the head, third eye, and the throat. The other person will be doing the heart, solar plexus, and the navel. Then, could you please go down onto your belly again? That was 15 minutes. So the last 15 minutes, what you can do, again, the person who's at the head is still at the head of the table. She can work at the base of the skull. Then the shoulders if the client is having stiff, neck tension and shoulder tension. And then she can do the back of the heart without moving. Okay? While the other healer will be working from the solar plexus, maybe the lower back, and he or she could finish off at the root chakra. Or let's say if she did not have any shoulder pain, this person can just do the head, the heart, and move her way down to the solar plexus. And the other healer can be either that side or this side. He can start from the back of the navel, the root chakra, and work his way down to finish off at the feet. That is in the case of two healers. Okay, so this was just a short demonstration of how you can start your own Reiki clinic in your home or in a space that's available for you. Okay, so when we finish a session, I usually would come back to the head, and depending on if the client's facing down, you might ask him to come back so he's facing up again. And I would start to cut my connection with the client. How to do that is you just go back into your grounding from the original session in the beginning and take some deep breaths to ground yourself back to the earth. And because this is an energy work, you would want to cut the cords physically with your hand 3 times or a few times. And definitely, please wash your hands after any session with a client so that you really are disconnected. Otherwise, energy can follow you home. You don't want that. Okay. Now, the other thing I would like to add is that regarding Kundalini Reiki, if you would like to start to attune people on your own, then a one-to-one, you would place your hands very lightly on the shoulders of the client. After you invoke and grounded yourself, and you would do a 25-minute attunement time just in this position with your eyes closed. But do be mindful in either case, whether it's a Reiki session or an attunement, the first thing, please be careful where your face is regarding where the client's face is. Right now it's okay, but sometimes you're right over the client's face. You do not want to be breathing down into the client's face. So position yourself where you can breathe either to the side, a little bit to the side. Okay, that's another tip or two about what you need to do during a Reiki attunement or clinic. Thank you.